What's going on, everyone? My name is JX, and welcome back to the channel. First off, I want to apologize. It is April 21st, and I'm just getting to March's dialogue. It's just been busy. It's like the last month of the semester for me, and I'm taking 7 classes, so it's been like working on art project left and right. But I did record this, so obviously I was ready for it. It's just I hadn't had the time to actually sit down and record a video. But I liked this dialogue from last month. It was pretty cool. It gets into a lot of what January's event was into with the Masters of Evil. So yeah, it's pretty cool that we're continuing that story, because it really, when I ended that video, I was like, there are so many questions. Like, what is Project Ryan Gold? What are they doing? What is the secret that Aegon doesn't want to find out about his people? And it seemed pretty interesting and kind of give us more of information, at least on the previous Contra champions, and kind of the thing with the ISO belt about Aegon's people making it. So oh man, it's so cool. All right, so following our quest from the Collector, the Summoner finds themselves on the doorstep of none other than Howard the Duck. And obviously Howard has a house full of himbos, if you know what I'm talking about. With Hercules and Hyperion and Man Thing. So yeah. So anyways, Summoner, what are you doing here? You know what? I don't answer that. Come on, I could use some help. That's the Summoner. They're the one I was telling you about. They're the one I was telling you about. They fought some serious bad guys in their time. Slig, nice to finally meet you. I'm Kate. I haven't been here long, but Hawkeye's told me you're good people. We're old friends. I'm also pleased to make your acquaintance. My name is Viv. Kamala has excitedly told me many things about your greatness. Viv, she doesn't mean that. I mean, she does, but she's pleased, but not stuff about me nerding out over you. I just love the nervous energy from Kamala. You can really get that across her character from the comics, and obviously now with the MCU, it's pretty cool. I'm so excited for the Marvels. All right, anyways, hey, you invited us, and I brought samosas. A little hospitality would go a long way, Mr. Duck. That's Mr. the Duck to you, kid. Look, I'm working on a case for the Collector. Some big ISO 8 shipments have been gone missing, and I found some solid lead as who's behind it. I tipped off the Avengers, but that was weeks ago, and I haven't heard a peep from them since. So now I'm calling you lot. I gotta admit, tough. I've only meant to call the Young Avengers, but my speech to text must have messed up, and I called the Champions too. So obviously, with Kate being a Young Avengers member, and then Viv and Kamala being the Champions member, and obviously with Champions we have other characters in the game as well. Like Miles. So yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, the Kree and the Skrulls are responding old wounds, which means Teddy and Billy are busy. So yeah, Teddy and Billy obviously from the Young Avengers, and obviously we kind of got their. When they came to the game, we got the Kree and Skrull kind of war happening still, and obviously with like the Empire of Teddy, of Hulkling kind of uniting those things. And then Miles is also preoccupied with the Spider People problem. He would not elaborate beyond passing mentions of totems and webs. So yes, that's for obviously April's. It would have teased April event, but now we're in April. I haven't read the dialogue. I heard there's some pretty funny references, but obviously he's involved with that. October's event, the Web of Destiny got destroyed, got burned down. So yeah. Anyways, however, I'm sure you invited the Summoner. You did not, Mr. Duck. That was probably the Tannelator himself, which obviously is a Collector. Likely feeling antsy after the Avengers ghosted me. Don't worry, Summoner, you'll be fine. I've got a cargo ship with some crates up trick and some dummy ISO signatures, so from outside they'll look like they're hauling ISO weight. I suspect the plan for us is to head on board. Correcto. A few hours later, aboard a Fox cargo transport vessel drifting on autopilot. I hate space travel. People say you can't tell the difference between real and artificial gravity, but my stomach definitely knows the difference. It's pretty funny because, yeah, I really like that, and especially, I don't know if you guys have watched The Expanse, but The Expanse, like, there are people who are born in the Belt, and they're born in zero gravity, and people who are born on Earth, or even Mars, or other planets, their bone structures are different, it's kind of cool, like, they can tell, like, when people are born with no gravity, and they go to a planet with gravity, they have to, like, take pills and medicine so their body doesn't feel weird. It's really cool. It's such an interesting detail. Attention, a specialist craft has dropped out of hyperspace and is on intercepting course. That just sounds super Star Wars, like super Star Wars and galactic, like over the intercom, like the planets, like the ship's AI says that. All right, Summoner doesn't do half measures though. That does mean Punisher 29 won't be answering questions anytime soon. This Punisher technology advanced, so they defeat Punisher 29. He was the one who was trying to steal the cargo, but they found them instead. And they defeat him. Obviously, Punisher is under Hydra from the future, so obviously that kind of ties back to the Masters of Evil, now under Zemo, and Red Skull being a part of it. Alright, this Punisher technology advanced, but its digital countermeasure should be easy for me to circum. Yeah, it does. Does he have some sort of futuristic supercomputer that you can hack into? Hydra Standard Issue Fitness Tracker. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Like you're like, oh, it's 2099, probably some cool AI, kind of how like Spider 29, he has an AI. Punisher 2099, he has a fitness tracker. So you can kind of tell where their money went to. It went into those disappearing weapons. There's an increasingly likelihood that this is the Punisher-based operation, if not the storage facility for all stolen ISO. So wait, what are we waiting for? Let's blast out of here and find the bad guys out. I think you're right. It's weird. It's kind of nice working with more superheroes my own age. I've worked with plenty over folks, X-Men and Humans. That's just a cool thing with the comics. Avengers, grown-up ones, I mean, it's actually super weird. Viv's is Vision's daughter. You'd think she'd be shoe-in for Young Avengers. Should be a shoe-in for Young Avengers. The Avengers are complicated. I'm much happier working with the champions. Oh my god, yes. I know exactly what you mean. I could not imagine what it'd be like fighting crime alongside my dad. Which, yeah, that is a little weird. Yeah, especially like you kind of see that kind of like sometimes it works out, like Cassie and Scott, they work as a cool duo, but like a lot of other legacy characters, they not so much. Is that a giant robot head? A celestial. I've heard this place. It's called Nowhere. Though this is one looks like it's some sort of variant, and it looks abandoned. So this is kind of cool. This is the first time that we really get a sense of that there's not only multiple celestials, but multiple Nowheres. Like we've had that like art of the celestial that created the battle realm, and in the motion comic he looked different than he does in the game and in concept art and everything. So that was a stylistic choice for that motion comic. For that artist, but this was actually confirmed. There's two different Nowheres, because like the one we have in game is like the comic Nowhere, or at least a version of the comic Nowhere, because there's like different versions as well. So it's kind of cool. Like I think that's cool. That just really puts into perspective how huge the battle realm is. If there can fit two celestial size heads, if not multiple, like it's kind of cool. And with all the different pocket dimensions. All right, and Kate's like, I love punching Nazis. There's just something about heartwarming about it, Warm fuzzies for my fist. Yeah, well, be careful what you wish for. There's Hydra. The Red Skull can't be too far behind. So obviously with Crossbones is who they fought. Oh my god, I would love to punch Red Skull or kick him ideally in the skull. I bet I look awesome doing it. Like, show, spin kick. Show. I'll be sure to take a photo when it happens. Ladies, I'm detecting high volume ISO 8 coming from this direction. It appears to be some sort of processing plant. Processing. Why would you process ISO 8? So this is interesting. Why would you process ISO 8? This is like, it immediately makes me think of like the Maestro when he created the first. He actually created the first ISO stone. If you remember like Ant-Man's comic, Ant-Man Ant-Man's event when he came to the game, he like peeked in on the Maestro, and the Maestro was refining ISO to make an Infinity Stone, and that was the first Infinity Stone. So that was it's pretty cool that we're getting back to refining ISO, and obviously the collector has said that his ISO belt is made of thousands of refined stars of ISO 8, so it's quite interesting. This field appears to be destinated around distillation of naturally occurring ISO. ISO 8 is collected in these batches container and then somehow distilled into the separate containers, stripping away impurities in the process. So yeah, exactly what the Maestro was doing back in like 2015. So it's kind of cool that that's a continued story. All right, the station is reinforced with quantum dampeners, like to prevent concentrated ISO 8 from warping reality, which is cool. However, my scans indicate that this reinforcement does not prevent the negative neurological effects associated with ISO sickness. Which we've seen before, obviously, if you've like Realm of Legends, Labyrinth of Legends, they're like all those characters are crazy as that, like they're super crazy because they've been pumped with ISO, and that's like the ISO sickness is kind of what she's referring to, which is pretty cool. All right, this seems to be the end of the line. Also, the ISO pipes are something behind these enormous supervillain-sized door, which appear to be locked. Viv, the station's primary power is routed through here. I will attempt to override the door's security measures. Halt! You sully this station no further, you intrusive nuance. Red Skull, I knew it! I knew this doesn't make sense. If you were the big bad, you would have been on the other side of the door, not out here trying to stop us. That's enough, Hydra may not be leading this enterprise, but its contribution to the Project Rheingold, which we got a name drop from Zemo, will be immortalized forever. And when the opportunity comes, I shall usurp the purple buffoon and seize control for myself. So it seems like, obviously, with like Zemo, he has ties to Hydra, but he doesn't really work with Hydra anymore. He kind of formed his own Masters of Evil, and it seems like Red Skull is helping that Project Rheingold out, or maybe he created it, but Zemo's kind of taken over the project. Alright, it looks like an ISO 8 spear. It looks like an ISO spear. Is that what this is? A place is supposed to be some sort of ISO spear popular like production plan. It's a crude comparison, but I believe it's entirely possible. Whoever's behind this is attempting to create their own isosphere. I have been waiting for this, man. Like, oh my gosh, like I literally ended January's event. I was like, oh my gosh, is Zemo trying to create his own isosphere? Like, I literally said that, and it's so cool that this is actually confirming it, which is cool. Like, you know, obviously, like Aegon's people, you know, I'm guessing created, you know, the Collector's isosphere, or at least he learned how from Aegon's isosphere that he won from the Master. So it's really cool that, you know, we got into this event, and it actually is continuing that. But that's super dangerous, especially if it's creating multiple isospheres. So that's extremely dangerous, and I'm very, very excited. There is multiple isospheres, I believe, so it's cool that, you know, I think the Collectors, and then the Grand Masters, and then the Nameless Collector, and then obviously Aegon's, and I think there's one more. It's hard to keep track of. They all look the same, except for the Nameless one. A cadre of brainwashed heroes emerged from the shadows of Room Vision, Thor, Hulk, and Captain America. So the Avengers, haha, it looks like all the All-Star lineup. Hooray! It was not. They were brainwashed. And Zemo pops up. He's like, Zemo, seriously, is this whole place just Nazis all the way down? Get your phone out, America. I'm gonna roundhouse kicking the Baron back to the glue factory. Again with the glue joke. You know, if you don't know, obviously he uses glue in his abilities, but his face, like his mask, is actually glued onto his face. It's a cool detail if you don't know it. But if you're like wondering, like, why the hell does she say glue? That's why. So it's cool. It's a cool detail. All right, the Baron activates the handheld controller, flooding the ISO core with power and filling the room with prismatic light, like super bright light. And the heroines immediately sees their minds becoming hazy and their bodies going stiff. So just like the ISO sickness. But kudos, you're as clever as I had heard. This is indeed my prototype isosphere. Brilliant, is it not? While admittedly inefficient, he's still more than capable of subjugating the denizens of the battle realm. It would have been super cool to see it. Like, I don't know, like when we first introduced the isosphere in Act 2, or Act 1 and 2 and 3, like it shows up on screen as its own dialogue thing. It would have been cool to see it. So I'm curious if it looks like the basic isosphere that the Collector, the Grandmaster, and now Karina has. And what I meant before is like Gwenpool had the isosphere, like Gwenmaster, but that was just stealing Karina's. And so yeah, like I'm curious on this one at least. Is like, what does it look like? As long as they are saturated in ISO 8 radiation, of course, subject of which, how did you enjoy this tour of my ISO distillation plant? Judging from our current condition, I can only assume you took your time getting here. Orange light illuminates the room and a robotic voice begins shouting, it's dude, I do not know German. I lived in Germany, but I don't know German, once again. Selbstbesteuerung from the PA system. Zemo's gloating is interrupted by the explosion of the unstable ISO core with a burst of light and the heroines freed from its control. Yeah, ISO 8 is extremely... It's not as volatile as ISO 9 from MROC, but it's pretty... It can be pretty volatile if it's not... I guess, utilized correctly, if you get what I'm saying. Which we've kind of seen stuff like that happen. Cough, is everyone okay? Viv, with the Avengers rescued and Viv recovered, the Summoner and their allies find a moment to respite on any red asteroid. I mean, of a serious maintenance, a non-percussive kind. Distance, the Hydra base explodes in a brilliant shower of energy and debris. That's say what you will about self-destruct mechanisms. They're at least pretty to watch. Comforting as this is, we need to get back to Howard Hydra's working with Masters of Evil. Zemo's got homemade isospheres. Agree and must begin preparing because I do not think we have long before the Masters of Evil make their final move. And that's where the event ends. I went by this event really fast. I'm just trying to cut down on the events because I feel like I spend too much time on the videos, and people like, oh, they don't want to watch this video so long. So I tried to skim this one down. But this was a fun event. Just a fun event, just because I like Viv and Kate. They're cool characters. And obviously, you know, predicting both those characters, I was excited too. And to get the story of now, you know, obviously we do have Hydra working with Masters of Evil. They know how to refine ISO. They know how to make isospheres. I'm curious where this, you know, where is this goal that Zemo's going for? It's really interesting. Like I'm excited to find out where it goes. You know, also we still have the Galactus event. We do have the Guardians event. Probably not connected. But yeah, we will see. It's pretty exciting. All right, everyone, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time, which will be in a couple days for April's events. All right, everyone, take care.